Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Rabbi Isai, exciting daf today. You're going to love today's daf. Very Chullin and technical, but in a geschmack way. We're holding 3 lines from the bottom of Yudzayin of the base. Omar Avuna bar Rav Katina, Omar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Shalosh Pegimah, saying there are 3 nicks that ruin things in the Torah. Pegimas etzem b'Pesach. We know that you cannot break a bone of the carbon Pesach. Every family or group of people have to bring a carbon Pesach, but you have to be careful not to break etzem l'sish b'rubo. You're not allowed to break a bone. What if your knife cuts into the bone and a little tiny piece pops off the bone? You ruin your over the issa deraisa. Begimas oizem b'bchar, a firstborn male animal goes to the kohen, provided it doesn't have a mum. If it has a mum, as small and as insignificant as a little missing part of the cartilage of the ear, a little part of the ear is missing, a little gam, you run your finger, pop, you didn't even, when you looked at it, maybe you didn't even see it. That's considered a gam, which makes the kohen super happy, because now he could just bring it and shecht it at home. He doesn't have to bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. And different gemaras, how the kohen would try to, get dogs to bite it or whatever it is. But a little gam, put a little chocolate on the animal's ear, and Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? From Muncie, Shalom Aleichem Ibhashi. Begimas mum bekachim. This, says Rashi, is an added mum. You think that this mum, a little part of the ear missing, covers every single mum. Certainly a mum of the heart, a mum in the lungs. What else could there be? Oh, there could be a female mum, meaning in the womb, a little gam in the womb, the entrance of the womb. That's also b'gimas mum bekachim. That's considered a b'gam, and you cannot use this animal. Rav Chizda Omar Av b'gimasakin. So this brings it back to our sugya Chullin, even a little nick of a knife. So then why doesn't it talk about this knife in the how come he only has a list of 3? There should be a list of 4, the Tanakama. So the Gemara, I'm talking about things that are only in the Beis HaMikdash, in Korbanos, like a Korban Pesach, a Chatas of a Nekeva, a Bchar, a Zachar. A knife goes also in the weekday, you could shecht in outside of the Beis HaMikdash when there's no Beis HaMikdash, so a knife is not included in the list. But Kulon, what's a begam? How much? How much is missing from the ear? As much as will make a mizbeach non-kosher. We know that a mizbeach has to be perfect, has to be smooth. And if something is missing from the mizbeach, you can no longer bring a carbon. How much? Top of Yud Ches Amud Aleph, 2 lines down. You take your nail and you run it down the ear, or let's say of the carbon. If it stops, there's a little bump in there. That's the begima. That's the Gemara, but we see that the begima is a lot more than a little tiny problem with the nail. Basic, how much is the Reb Shimon tefach? It's a whole tefach, not a little tiny nick in the ear. Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov kizayis. Okay, a whole olive. But where did you get the nick? Like kasha. I want you to pay attention to this video because you might know it, but the first part you see how they discard any stone. This is for the building of the Mizbeach. Any stone that had a little nick in it, even such as your nail getting stuck in the rock, they put it back. You didn't have to do that, okay. He's checking for nicks. Don't worry, we have new stuff for today. All right, so we have the stones. Those stones, the b'gima is tiny, and that's what we learned from that b'gima of the stone. The lime that they put in, the cement, that b'gima is either a kizayis or a tefach. So when you look at the Mizbeach, which I told him to take away, we don't need it for today, the outside of the Mizbeach is all lime. So if that's missing, like that little Chatas man, he drilled into the Mizbeach, that part has to be a tefach hole or a kizayis hole. Okay. In the stone, even a mashu, a little tiny nick in the stone, the stones in the Mizbeach, the hole that they put into the form, that has to be perfect, without a single nick. But the lime on the outside, even a kazayis or a tefach, that's a machloik. Every shoichet must go show his knife to the chacham, and if you don't go to the chacham, mishamtinenle. You put him in chayrim. What does that mean? You can't even starve to a minion. You don't talk to him. You can't stand in his daled amas. Whatever you do for a guy that's in chayrim. V'rava Amar, let me top it up. Let me say even more. You put him in chayrim, but more than that, mahabrinenle. You got to get rid of him. In addition to the nidui, to the chayrim, we get rid. He can't work anymore as a shoichet. Umachrezino na bisrei de treifehi, and we announce on his meat that it's a treifa. He made achraz. He says this meat is treif. V'loy pligi. No machlokas. Kan kishenimtzes b'sakino yafa. Kan b'shloy nimtzes sakino yafa. If you come afterwards and you find that there's a nick in the knife, that means all the shchitas he did beforehand are treif. So you got to remove him completely. He was trying to be Michael treifas, nevelos and treifas. Remove him. And don't let him work as the shaykhid anymore, and put him in chayrim. But if you come and you see this knife is perfect, so what was his big sin? That he didn't go to the Rav. Okay, so he's mavayish the rabbi, he's mezalzel in the Rav. So for that we put him in chayrim only, but we don't remove him from his job. Rabbeinu Omar hechad leinim sakinu yafim min masmeis lei befarto. Oh, this is unbelievable. What do? You smear it up with feces, the meat, and even a non-Jew would not buy it. Nobody's going to buy this stuff. There was a. So before I forget, they say Shulchan Aruch brings down that today it's a little different. You think the shaykhim every single day they go to the rabbi, this, that? No. Today we have special shaykhim. They're learned shaykhim. They know halacha well. They are our shaykhim. They work in the shlachtos, and that's it. It used to be that every guy, he had a chicken, he took a knife and he shechted. He learned tilcha shechita. It became an issue. So then every single person had to check his knife by the Rav. But today they said, no, that's it. These are our shaykhim. We have 100 shaykhim per community. For the whole Yerushalayim, how many shaykhim are there? Whatever they are, they get a stempel that they're good. They're good to go. They never have to check the knives by the Rav. That's how it works today. So this butcher didn't show his knife to the Rav. He didn't bring it to Rav Bar Chinina. Shamte, so Rav Bar Chinina put him in chayrim, v'abrein, he removed him from his job. V'achiz abisri the trefi. He said all his meat is treif. Now it doesn't say whether or not it had a begima. He said it's treif. Iklu marzutu Ravashi l'gabei. So one day these two rabbanim came. Ravashi came to Rav Chinina by Rava. Rav Bar Chinina, sorry, Rav Bar Chinina. Omar lahu. So he says, "Limsa, do me a favor. I was pretty harsh with this guy. I removed him. He doesn't have. He's jobless now. I said all his meat is treif. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to figure out how to get him back in this job. Why? Lainu Rabbi will say the talubei tafle, because he has children that are dependent on him. A few times we spoke about if a guy gets a jail sentence. Gets a jail sentence. So why is the wife shuldik? Why are the kids shuldik? Rubashkin missed his kids' bar mitzvahs and all. His wife, for years and years, it's a tremendous tzar for the mishpacha. We shouldn't know from tzars, but somebody's sick, he has the machla, and goes through treatments and everything. It's a tremendous burden on the family. Tremendous tzar. So you speak about it. Hakadosh Baruch Hu takes everything into consideration. It's all considered. It's not like, this collateral. No, it's part of it. It's all part of the plan and the cheshbon. So these kids don't have what to eat. Figure it out. So Ravashi took the knife and he checked it. V'nimtzis yafa came out. There's no b'gima. There's no nick. Machshri. He said, okay, he could go back and work. So Mar Zutra is standing there. But what about Rav Bar Chinina that took this guy out of his job? He asked me to find a heter. This is what I found. I'm just doing the rotzen of the Rav. You have a tooth that popped out from, let's say, a human being, an animal. It's very sharp. Or a nail. that's no longer attached to the animal, to the person, it's like a knife. It's sharp like a knife. It's in the mission. We learned it the other day. You cannot use shinayim. You cannot use tzipar. You can't use the tooth and nail. Why? Because they tear. They don't cut nicely. Says the Gemara, it's not a contradiction with the teeth. Why? We have two teeth, so you have the gap between the two teeth. That gap, the skin could push into the gap, and then it rips the skin instead of cutting it, or the siman. But you have one tooth. It's like a knife. And you don't have a kasha on nails. When the nail is detached, then it's good shchita. When it's attached to the body, then it's mechuber. And Rebbe holds that mechuber is poisel. It's not a good shchita. So this is a magal kotzer. Beautiful pictures. As you can see, if you move this sickle from right to left, so you're not going to have any pulling from the blades. It's going to go smooth over the blade. The blade is going to cut nicely and smoothly. If you go from left to right, so every one of those points is going to pull at the skin and at the simanim, and that's terrible. So if he's walking with it from right to left, the end of it, the pointy part, the end, all the way on the left, that hits the neck of the animal first, and it slices through the neck. Beisil say it's kosher. Now, when you read this, you say, what does kosher mean? I can eat it. What does kosher mean? So the Gemara is going to say, no. You can't eat it. Kosher means it's not metama. It removes the nevela from it, but it's not kosher. It's very, very smooth. If you're able to make those points smooth, so there's no back and forth, any direction that you cut with, it's going to slice and not pull, then it's a regular knife. Says Gemara, let's get this clear, because there's confusion all over Klal Yisrael. Ask people anywhere you want. I saw there's confusion in this particular halacha, and that is a dead cow, a cow that's a kosher animal by design, that drops dead in a person's backyard, gives off tumah the same way that a dead horse gives off tumah, the same way a lion gives off tumah, the same way a dead cat gives off tumah. So all animals give off tumah, they transmit tumah. There's one animal that doesn't have tumah, and that's a dead cow that was shechted, a dead sheep that was shechted. Those don't have tumah because the shechita removes the tumah. They're no longer nevela. So says the Gemara, what Beisil meant, that you use this sickle you see on the screen as a shechita device, that doesn't allow you to eat it. Why? Because it's a dangerous device. What if you pull it from left to right, and then you tore the simanim? I don't rely on you. I don't know who you are and what you are. How easy is it to shecht in a one smooth motion, one direction? Usually you go back, forth a few times, whatever it is. So you're going to be careful. I know. And then if you're not careful, you're worried that you didn't do a good job on this animal, so you take it back. Then you just ruined the shechita. You made it a treif. So eating, do not eat. But does it have tumah? No, it doesn't have tumah. That's all I said. That's all Beisil said. I can prove it to you. Beis Shammai say it's possible, and Beisil say it's kosher. What's kosher? It should say, mutter aser. I use this knife, it's aser. I use this knife, it's mutter. What's machshir? Machshir is a lashon of tumah. Says Gemara, wait a minute. If it's really a lashon of tumah, there's a much better word that every one of us in this room would have used. Not the lashon kosher, but the lashon of tahar. Tameh and tahar. I can't be medaik at all from the wording in the Mishnah. It says kosher, it says mutter, it's all the same thing. But what, yes, so how does Rabbi Yochanan know this? Rabbi Yochanan heard it from his Rebbe, you heard it from his Rebbe, you heard it from Beisil. Beisil never said that a sickle makes the animal kosher. Do not use a sickle. If you used it, it's after the fact, it removes the tumah from the animal, but do not eat the animal. Boys, we're going to see a fascinating sugi here. This is the air conditioning pipe. This is what a cow breathes through. Very large, very, very large. I was surprised myself. This is cartilage, this white thing. What the Gemara is going to talk about, A, is that the cartilage is it's not a ring. Right over here, I actually put my finger right in there. There is nothing here. You see? It goes up to here and stops. Up there and stops. Right over here is meat. This, Rabbi Isa, is the veshet. This red thing, I don't know how I'm touching this. I'm not the type of guy. But hey, anything for the share. Ratings is ratings. This is what the food goes down. Right over here. This is the kind of veshet. So when they slice, the slicing, they have to slice 2 simonim. This guy did a fantastic, look how beautiful it is. Right through here. Now where exactly is it slicing? That's today's sugya. These are the air conditioning pipes. You see the different rings? Many rings here. 1, 2, 3. Could you see them? We're going to see a shita that says you have to slice in between the rings. You can't slice the actual ring. Right over here, there's the final ring. It's called tabas hagdoila. It's much larger, but it also has one thing that the other rings don't have. It goes around and around. It's a complete circle. It's a real ring. There is no meat on the bottom. And there's a sheet that says that the entire shechita must take place in the tabas hagdoila right over here. Just this one over here. Weiter. This right over here, everybody has. This is called the Adam apple. Right over here. You see the spitz? Zoom in, Gary. Do me a favor. I need a good zoom on this. This. And if you notice, it goes downwards. This is a shipua. It's like a slide. It goes up, and there's a point. This point is where things stop. This is what we call the Adam's apple. We have that little spitz in our neck. That's what it is right over here. Okay. So, I want to show you this exact thing of how Yoshi did it. It's beautiful. So now we understand. There's a tabas hagdoila. I don't really have it here in front of us, but let's see it. I'm going to try not to drip on my Gemara. Okay, so that's what we just saw. I see the tabas hagdoila here. I don't know if you notice it. It's a different color, but here we'll see it. Here's tabas hagdoila. Okay, so that's right over here. If you're looking at it here, it connects the other rings of the kana. Right, the kana is like a air conditioning pipe, mamish, and has these rings. It connects. There's one final tabas hagdoila, and then comes the kaiva. This is the kaiva. This piece right over here, and this is the point, the highest part of the mountain right over here. Okay. Take a look at this. Inside, I'm going to show you those are the chitim he's pointing at. Tabas hagdoila, tabois. Okay. Well, I'm going to run through these so everything is clear before we even look inside, and then the sugi is going to fly. Here's that kaiva, this whole thing right over here. We see it over here. That's the kaiva and the top part. Tabas hagdoila is just another ring, but if you look at it, and I'm going to show it to you clear, that's tabas hagdoila. Here's a picture just showing how a typical ring does not go all the way around. There's a little tiny piece of meat that pops out in the bottom of it. And that's why the Gemara says you can't shecht on that kana according to that shita. Oh, that's what it would look like without meat. So it's open. But on the other hand, this is the tabas hagdoila, the final ring. Take a look at it. It's completely enclosed from all sides. Come on, what shear in the world has this? Yeah, mamish ring. Now, take a look at this. These are the different possibilities of shechting. Here he shechted in between the rings. Did you notice? Look at the green line. It's in between the rings. That's okay, according to everybody. I don't know how you get in between the ring. I guess you feel it. You have to feel it. What? You feel it. They know how to feel. Now, here's a guy shechting the actual ring, which is problematic. Right down the middle of a ring, take a look at the line in the middle of the ring. No good. Now let's talk about hagrama. Hagrama is that I'm going to cut the tabas hagdoila, but it's very dangerous to cut over there. Why? It's great. It's the best place to shecht. But what if I cut like somebody that cuts challah on an angle? You know, he's not the best challah cutter in the world. And by mistake, he goes left and he hits the kaiva. That's called hagrama. Because your shechit has to be nice and straight right down to the tabas hagdoila. If I veer off, that's called hagrama. I'm shechting in the wrong spot. I'm shechting the kaiva area. No good. Throw this animal out. What if I shechted 51% of the tabas agdoila? Then my knife goes, I make a sharp left turn. That should be okay, l'chayr, because I did a roiv. Let's see how that looks. That's good. That's perfect. What did I do here? I left a sliver of the ring on both sides. At least on the side closest to the kaiva, I left a sliver, so that's perfect. That's mamish what you need to do. But what happens if I do this? That's exaggerated. But the point is, I veered off. But in this particular picture, he shechted already a roiv. He already had the roiv of the kana. And from there on, what is he going to shecht? What's underneath it, the veshet, this thing underneath, that's okay. So let's see inside. If we need to come back to these pictures, we'll come back, but that's basically the sugya from the top. What tabas are we talking to, Rabbi Isai? Tabas agdoila. Tabas agdoila again is the tabas that we see over here in the picture with the green line through it. That is the number one tabas, the first ring, and that goes in a complete circle. He shechted it similar to this picture right over here, that there's a hair's breadth. To the left of it, he went right through the entire thing. Shchita, that's a perfect shchita. You don't need the entire thing. All you need is, like this green thing right over here, most of it. Come Rav and Shmuel and say a bomb. They drop a bomb here. Rabbi Shmuel Amar Tavayu Allah Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. First of all, we pass on Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. That what? All you need is a roiv. Even if you do agrama, even if you shecht it into the kaiva, you're okay if you have roiv. And these are words that we're going to have to come back to, so try to remember them. He only said that this whole halach of shechting and roiv and everything is in the tabas agdoila. Because it's complete circle. So if you just read it, like I read it in Paris, it says over here that you cannot do shchita according to him in this part of the kana. Let me see. I don't see it here, so let me raise it up. In the tabas agdoila, you could shecht. Let's get this off. But this white part over here, you cannot do shchita. But Rashi says no. What he meant to say is you can't do shchita stamazoi. But if you do it in between the rings, that would be okay. Now you have to be a big mumcha in between the rings. Even I did it in between the rings. That was the easier way to do it, in between the rings. Okay. What? There's no. You don't have to. You can't do shchita in the other rings. What do you mean? Even this animal right here was shechted in the rings. Now, I don't know if it was in between because I see nice cartilage. So according to this shita, it would be no good the shchita. Right? Look at the cartilage. You see the cartilage right there. I mean, obviously he shechted the actual ring. To me, it looks like that. Okay. Says the Gemara, "Vatanya Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Doimer, Daf Yitches on Beis, Hashoich B'Shar Tabois." Here, if we stop here, here's the question. It says shechting in the other rings. These rings do not have a complete circle. Since there's a roiv, it's good shechting. If I make a left turn, I hit the koiva psula. What? He did the shchita on the tabas agdoila, and then he veered off. He steered off into the koiva, into this part. No? This way? He veered off into this part right over here. That's no good. Hey, Reb Chanina ben Atina Sam Gremes. And Reb Chanina ben Atina said on this veering, Shik Sheira. Says Rashi, Vafilu kula lemala min hatabas agdoila. Even if you, lemala means towards this way. So even if you are completely past the tabas agdoila, provided that you're not at this point on, you're not by the Adam's apple on. If you get it in the koiva from the Adam's apple to the left towards the kana, then you're okay. Even if you're past the tabas agdoila. Tabas agdoila is here. You shechted over here. You're okay.
Including a centimeter. It adds a
Yeah, I don't know what a centimeter is, but yeah. Yeah, from the Adam's apple on the koiva, because the koiva is actually up to here. This is the Adam's apple. So from the Adam's apple to here, no good. From the Adam's apple on the koiva to this way is good, even though you didn't touch any of the tabas hagdoila. Why? When the Torah, Akash Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai that agrama cutting into the koiva is no good, mishipui koiva ulamala. This is the koiva. Do we see it or not? I just need to make sure that we see this koiva perfectly. Oh, now I can see it. Right over here, this guy. Oops. Right over here.
Oh,
Shipui koiva. It goes like this. There's like a slide. Do you guys see it perfect? I don't know if it's good enough. Oh, that's a better one. Right over here. From here downwards, no good. From here this way.
Is that bone?
It's cartilage. It's cartilage. Yeah, this is cartilage. It's moving. Very cartilagey. Okay. Oh, so the question is that Rav and Shmuel say that if you shecht in anything, look, Rav and Shmuel say if you shecht over here, it's mamish puzzle, it's treif. Over here we see Bashir B'shar Tabayis that it's a good. What these? No, but because they're not good tabayis. They explain that it doesn't go around in a circle, whatever that means. It's not a kana. Fine, it's not a kana because look, it doesn't have cartilage all the way around. No, nothing to do with the grama. It's not. It's shechting a leg. If you shecht the leg of a carbon, it's a grama. Okay, so yeah, exactly. It's not the place. But if you shecht between the kana, it's okay. Fine. Says Gemara, Omer Rav Yosef, Rabbi Yosef reviewed the Tarti Kamar. There's two halachas that Rabbi Yosef said. Rav and Shmuel Rav and Shmuel were only talking about one part of Rabbi Yosef in the Mishnah. That what? One halacha is that if you shecht most of the tabas hagdoila, we said 51% of the tabas hagdoila, you're good. Even if you did hagrama and you shechted into that kaiva thing, you're okay. The other halacha that Rabbi Yossi talks about in the Mishnah is the other tabais. He holds the other rings, the rest of the air conditioning pipe is okay, and Rav and Shmuel argue on that. They argue on one thing and they agree with one thing. As the Gemara of V'loy Omar Kamri, the lashon of here. Look at the lashon on Amud Aleph. You don't have to turn the page; it's right here. They're explaining what Rabbi Yossi said. It's one halacha they're talking about. Where do you see two halachas here? So this is not halacha. This is what they meant. Halacha, we only agree to one of the two halachas. They're pointing out one of the halachas because they only agree to him in that halacha. We don't agree that you can do shchita in the other rings. Oh, you know what? I told him to do this, and he worked on it. Why wouldn't I show this? Here's the koiva. Here's that spitz. You see where there's a dotted purple line? That's the point. Check this out. If you shecht to the right of it, that's closer to the rest of the rings, green, it's great. From that spitz downwards, it's all red. Perfect. Now I see it great. That's great. What's mugremes of Rav Shmuel? That they said that if you cut into the tabas you go into the tabas and you steer off, you go into the koiva, no good. Amalei.
No, it's in the other rings.
No, yeah.
It's in the other rings. Mugremes is not. Yes. Okay, fine. Made a mistake. You're right. Yesterday I said it well. Today not. Rav and Shmuel say the other rings are not good, even though it says mamish the words in my Gemara here. Shar tabayis. Okay. Omar lehei. Amalei. Lav Maasir, what's funny?
Nothing.
So whatever. I get one off. Omalei Lav Maasir Rav Shmuel. I don't understand. You come from Bavel. In Bavel, they don't eat from these rings over here. Shchita in these rings no good. You coming to Israel all of a sudden, you become a makel. Amalu Manamara. Why should I care about that? Yosef Achia. He's not a medactic. He said Allah. He heard it from somebody. He heard it once in Chullin, and he said it over as if you can't eat it from this part of the animal. No, I don't go with that. Shomer Rav Yosef, who said that he's not a medactic, heard about this. Ikben. He's upset. Omar, I learned from everybody. I learned from the top of the top. The Talmud of Rav and Shmuel. he's so medactic, Rabbi Yehuda, that even if he forgets who told it to him, he says over both names. I don't know if I heard this. The famous Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Rav, Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Shmuel, all over Shas. Over here he says, Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Rav, Omer Shmuel. I don't know who I heard it from. So he's so medactic to say the Shmuel. So of course he's going to say the halacha itself perfectly. We had it on Amar Aleph. You have a firstborn male. It has a little mum, so then the kohen benefits from it. Who decides if it's mum or not? Even 3 people, if there's no mum. Okay, so you heard it either from Rav, either from Shmuel. Let's say you come from America to Eretz Yisrael, and in Ma'ariv they don't say Baruch Hashem Lo'olam. So what do? According to this Gemara, well, I know what you do, but maybe according to this Gemara you should say Baruch Hashem Lo'olam. And then you should be makbid on Birkas Kehanim, because you do the Chumrah of Eretz Yisrael, you do the Chumrah of America and Shalom Yisrael. You got to do the Chumras of both. If you come from Nahar Da to Medisa, from Chayza to wherever, Surah, thank you, then you have to be makbid on all your Chumras from place to place. And from Eretz Yisrael, you come from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim, etc. Great. If you come from Chutz La'aretz, Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, or one direction from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, then you have to keep all your minhagim from Eretz Yisrael. And Bavel Eretz Yisrael, it's similar to what we have today. Not 100%, but maybe more. You could say more halacha comes out from Eretz Yisrael, more of the poskim. So we in Chutz La'aretz we bow down to the halacha of Eretz Yisrael. So when I come to Eretz Yisrael, I'm going to do exactly like them, and I'm going to eat from the shechita from this part. You could even go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. What?
You have to be machmir from Bavel.
Yeah. When they have, it's only, we have it today, people don't come from Aliyah, they just come for Sukkot or something. So if you have in mind to go back, then you have to be kaim all your minhagim. Maybe that's mamash the sugya, that you have to keep 2 day yontiv when you're in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because you think about going back. But Reb Zera in Datil Achzor he made a full Aliyah. How do I know he made a full Aliyah? Because he fasted 100 Tanesim so he could forget how to learn like a Babylonian. He wanted to know how to learn like Eretz Yisrael. So he's there to stay, pick up the minhagim, only 1 day yontiv. Rabbanon who came from Chayza, they're the ones who say what? That you're allowed to shecht in the kana. He says that it's kosher, that if you shecht in most other rings, these guys right over here, it's kosher. So what are you telling me that in Bavel they hold that it's not kosher? Here, there's a place in Bavel. Amarle, Naharu Pashte. What does that mean? It means that every stream has a different direction, a different flow, a different power. Also human beings. Every human has a... I want to tell you a sad story. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.